Are
Hi.
we on because I'm eating?
I know.
So
And so yeah, we are on and I love that you're eating. I know you're starving because you just had a great experience. Well, first of all, hold on. Before we get into that, you keep chewing because don't talk with your
hmm
mouth full. So before we get
hmm
into that, I want to talk about a couple things that happened. This was a really awesome week for you.
hmm
And I feel like I am reflecting more in your amazing week.
on my behalf.
I I want to talk about this for a split second. I don't want to give too much away because I know we're going to do something with this in the future,
hmm
but I want to just say that for all the years I've known you and the story that you told in front of I would say the biggest audience you've spoken in front of that was not medical, that was a non-medical
hmm Well, my
event,
only non-medical event, I guess.
right? I mean, that's kind of fair to say because it wasn't really
hmm
about that. This
hmm
is a little thing that you're trying to launch about storytelling and people's stories, and I love it. I think it's beautiful. I love the idea. And you
hmm
launched with your story. And
hmm
not only do I know your story, but would it be fair to say that I lived your story with you?
hmm
And I think you said in that talk,
And all the characters.
and I know all the characters, I know all the players, and I thought I knew all the rules, but I guess those were all broken along the way. But what you did and how you presented was so incredible. And I you you created a piece of art. You turned tragedy into art, into beautiful art, and you moved people. And I know you did because everyone's talking about it. Everyone that was in that room is talking about it. They want to hear it again, which is why we're
Mm-hmm.
going to do it again. But even me, who knew the story, when you started to talk, I turned to my friend next to me and I said, "Is she really doing this? Where's she going with this?" Because you're someone who truly believes in not feeding a beast. And we've talked about that over the years. And you're like, when there is
hmm
something that harbors any type of negativity, any type of darkness to it,
hmm
we don't feed it, we kill it, we starve it. And so it's one of the things that you don't often want to talk about, even if it's in a quiet space, because you just don't want to bring life to it. And so to
hmm
see you come out and look so gorgeous, and you spoke with such confidence, and you were so funny. Like you kept making
I'm
these sarcastic jokes.
because I'm not a funny person. When have you laughed at a joke that I made? I
Oh,
mean, I don't.
you're very funny. Of course you're funny. You say
Well,
funny things all the time, but never associated with this.
yeah.
And you were funny. And also I just noticed that my logo is above your head, so that's awesome. I love that. Um, but I I I've never seen that person, and it was amazing. And I just think that you should really be celebrating in that because you did a beautiful job. And I don't know how long it took you to put that together because you brought it full circle to everything in your life that you really truly believe in and the things that empower you most. And also, you kept something so eloquent and I mean, you said a few choice words, which I loved. Everybody loved it because it's so not you.
I
Well, maybe
know.
I take it back. It is you now. Now it's you.
Yeah.
It's the
Now
new.
it's out there.
It's
I
out
use
there.
those.
You can't take it back.
No.
People know that you're not a saint.
Far from it.
But you did it. You spoke. I sobbed from the moment you started talking. I gasped, and I know the story.
hmm
So it was really incredible. Congratulations to you. I think that you are amazing. And it's like
Thank
I
you.
told you that night, I think you've reached your destination. So it's time to take your seatbelt off because you are untethered. You're free to roam about the cabin as you choose. We are at a safe altitude now for you to roam. It was beautiful. I loved it. We're going to do another one of it with Dr. Chippy, and she's going to tell her story in a way that I don't know that a lot of people even know the genesis of the story at all.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. No, it's interesting. I was sitting with a client yesterday, and at the end, she said, I would be really interested to know why you left cardiology and why you're doing this. And I said, well, Buckle up, I've got a story for you.
I sure do.
Yeah.
And it's never been told so good. I mean, it's like the best version of that story because it was delivered with grace, and it was delivered with confidence and some comedic relief, and empathy and humility and sadness. Right? I mean, there was some sadness there.
Hmm, lots of that. And triumph. I hope
Oh,
that came across.
that was the whole. No, it was it was beautiful, Chippy. You really did a great job. You're an artist in so many ways, and the writing and was just amazing. And I want to talk about that for a little bit. So we'll let everybody know when that event's going to be held again, and the time and the place, and hopefully just people will come out and get to see that because it was brilliant. It's so motivating for anyone. I don't care what facet of your life you're looking to motivate. It's in
Mm-hmm.
this talk. It's in this talk. It's there. It has it all. So now let's talk about why you felt the need to eat in front of everybody on
Eat
camera.
in during this podcast. Yeah, I just I met a wonderful holistic physician, and some of the things she said, she does a whole body cleansing, she does a total gut cleansing,
What's her
and
name?
then her name is Elena Rybak. And I should pull up her, I think it's Living. Let me pull this up because she's, what a cool lady. And she has a PhD in holistic nutrition. She has a life coach certification. Um, she's a really interesting character. Elena Rybak. Her place is called the Living Healthy Institute. And some
Where's
of
she
the
located?
she's in Sarasota. She is. Let me just pull her up.
I've never heard of her. That's so awesome that she
Well,
connected
because
with you.
so she doesn't really advertise. She's on Fruitville.
Okay.
She's on Fruitville Road.
Okay.
She doesn't really advertise because I think, number one, she believes so wholeheartedly in what she does and the outcomes that she's had. And some of the anecdotal cases she was telling me, back when she was training with her preceptor, they had an individual with pretty end stage liver cirrhosis because of alcoholism, which, by
Mm.
the way, that has shifted. Modern day now, it's a metabolic disease as to why people's livers fail. But
You'll have to explain that more in layman's
previously,
terms later.
yeah, we can talk about that. But previously, it was, predominantly alcohol. I mean, alcohol is still a huge component. But so he was an alcoholic, had liver cirrhosis, and I think somehow he found his way to them. They did multiple liver cleanses and went to follow up with his doctor. They rechecked his labs and they said, "Wait, what's going on here?" And he's like, "Yeah, I feel great. My jaundice is gone." And they're like, "Wait, what? Did you get a liver transplant?" He's like, "No, no, no liver transplant."
This is
So
the
they
same one that was
rescanned
sick.
him. Yeah, rescanned him, and there was almost an 80% regeneration of his liver tissue. And then she said, most recently, and then she said, you can talk to this person. I'll be doing a seminar on Saturday, by the way, at her office.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she said she had a person that came in with eight, a pretty large gallstone with multiple smaller stones and gallbladder sludge. And she put him through several liver cleanses, and of course told him to make dietary changes. And it completely disappeared. Um,
That's
She
wonderful.
said when she was doing the liver cleanse, this guy was just he would just cough and this black
Oh,
stuff would come out and it would just like hit the walls.
no.
Mine was very gentle.
Well, you don't put a lot of sludge in to begin with.
I definitely don't put a lot of sludge, but coming out of it, I'd be interested to see what my labs are going to do. Because you whether you do this cleanse or any prolonged fasting, you're going to see that there is an improvement in insulin sensitivity. So the way your body will how the insulin goes into the receptor, and then the secondary changes that happens. My dogs are barking in the background. I'm so
That's
sorry.
okay. They're upset.
Um, and
They
so
want to get on camera.
improvement in glucose dynamics, uric acid, um, but so it's a big microbiome shift. So it's I don't know if I really feel that different, but I think maybe I'm craving sugar less because I sat in front of you. You were at Crop, and one of our friends had bought two of the Crop desserts, and normally I would just be like,
You would
okay,
have
I want to eat
devoured
that.
both of them.
Oh yeah, I had no desire and I still don't have any desire. And I think part of it is the microbiome shift
Yeah.
because the microbiome responds to what you feed it. So you feed it certain foods, then it continues that
It wants
cycle.
more. That's right.
But once there's a disruption, within 24 hours, 48 hours a week shift based on what you're eating. So
I
yeah,
fast often. You know that. It's kind of
yeah,
always been
you
one of the
fast
things
on
that
a
you and
daily.
yeah, well, not, I don't starve myself, but I do fast for long periods of time because I like to eat my dinner early. I go to bed early and I wake up early. So my
Hmm.
eating window is typically a shorter window during the daytime hours. And then after really 5 o'clock, I really don't have any desire to eat. That's where I get into my herbal teas and,
Hmm.
try to replenish any of the missing water from the day that I haven't had and stuff like that. But again, I'm in bed by 9:30, 10. So,
Yeah.
it's not like I'm like struggling to get through this
Hmm.
fasting period.
Hmm.
And then
Yeah.
and so,
Yeah, because it was tough the first day, and then really tough. I think I was there. I was texting you like I'm starving. The
and
second
I
day
said, no, you're
was,
not.
yeah, I know. It's all in the head. Second day, I'm like, gosh, I didn't eat the whole day. I mean, and I'm hungry. I'll eat, but so far today, I had a plantain. I had steamed cauliflower and broccoli, and I put some nutritional yeast. And then I had this khichdi, which I made with rice and mung dal, and I put some green beans and some warming spices, and I'm stuffed.
You're good.
Yeah.
Because for someone your size and somebody didn't know you, they would just assume that you're someone who doesn't eat
Oh,
especially
totally.
as often as you do, but you can pack it in and you
Hmm.
do, and we argue about this, but you do like sugar. You
Well, I
like
think
honey in the tea and
menopause hit, and suddenly, like, I went from someone who absolutely, I, I didn't sympathize with people that had a sugar addiction. I feel like it's karma, coming hitting me in the ass.
well,
But yeah,
it's but it's like you said, once you feed the body, it wants more of that, and I think that's very, very real. And when you and I were in Asia this summer,
mm-hmm.
we talked about this the other day. I was put into a forced fast. I like to
Hmm.
fast. I love to go long periods without eating to give my body some time to digest and fully get ready. But I mean, we had some trouble finding some foods that
Food.
were like for that we wanted to put in our bodies. And so I was living primarily on whole fruits. And I remember going through a market and seeing a carrot, and I got it.
Mm.
And Rich was like, "You're eating a carrot?" And I thought,
Okay, but
"Yeah,
it tasted
it's
like a carrot, right?
oh
Like, remember
God,
how good
oh my God."
the grapes? It was like the flavors were so concentrated.
They were so pungent. Do you remember when we were walking the baby? We were walking the baby while all the kids were shopping,
Hmm.
and you said,
Hmm.
"Hold on, I see a fruit store."
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
remember,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
ran to the fruit store, and I
Hmm.
thought, "Okay, get whatever you can, whatever money
Hmm.
we have, go buy us some fruit so we can
Hmm.
eat." Because we were
Hmm.
starving. Meanwhile, our
Hmm.
kids were on a food tour, eating 7, 8, 9, 10 times a day, and
Yeah.
you and I were losing ounces by the second.
Yeah.
And you came back empty-handed, and I thought, "Why didn't you buy anything?" And you were like, "No, the mango was $150. Like
Yeah.
everything else
Yeah.
in Asia is like 4 cents, but this particular
Hmm.
fruit store,
Oh my
and it was
God.
something about the way the fruit was preserved and all of that. But
Yeah. Well, they cut out all the mangoes and they allow just a few on the tree to be concentrated, so it just gets concentrated with the flavor and the sugar and the yeah. So
yeah,
each mango is literally picture perfect. It's
yeah,
huge, and I can't
they
even
look like the
imagine.
plastic ones. They looked like
Oh yeah,
and they were
like
all
the
wrapped up individually.
plastic, yeah, and it's all like, so it doesn't bruise. Yeah. But leave
And
it to the Japanese to take a concept and take it to a level.
Yeah.
to just insane perfection. And,
I remember
we
saying, why
saw
didn't
that
you buy
everywhere.
it? And you're like, it was $150. I'm like, so we're starving. You should have bought it. We could have shared the mango. But because, and that was like day 2, I think, of our,
Hmm.
however long trip.
Hmm.
And that trip, I tell people it changed my life in so many ways. But what you just spoke about, the metabolic shift, the microbiome shift, and very much like you, and I think you would attest to it, I keep it pretty clean. I mean, I don't
Hmm.
veer often, which is why we were in
Hmm.
this forced fast. And that little bit of forcing me out of my comfort zone, because I remember going to bed some nights thinking, I am really hungry.
Hungry.
Like, and
Hmm.
I don't, if I'm hungry, I'll eat, despite
Hmm.
whatever journey I'm on. If my body, I believe that the best form of diet and lifestyle is intuitive
Hmm.
eating. And if your body is asking for food, you need to give it to it. But in that particular time, I was like, I didn't have it. I was, in a hotel room or an Airbnb or whatever with not the right currency and with nothing open around me and just not
Hmm.
planning properly because we chose
Hmm.
to opt out of Western accommodations and we truly
Yes.
submerged into the Japanese culture that things were not as easy as going down to the bodega or to the buffet in the morning to get
Hmm.
food. And
Hmm.
so, as much as that was an uncomfortable time, I liked it because I feel like I did something that I wouldn't have normally been able to plan for.
Hmm.
And I've
Hmm.
had 28 colonoscopies in my life, so I can fast and prep and all that, but it has to be on my terms.
Hmm.
And so, I'm proud of
Hmm.
you for doing that because I know it's something that it's not something you would
Something that I have
voluntarily
never
do.
done. I've
Yeah.
never done. So yeah, I don't know. I think I just had this like catharsis on Tuesday of just telling my story after 11 years. And suddenly I'm okay. So I have something very serious to discuss. So suddenly I feel like a different person that I can now do things like fast. Like I did a 3-day fast essentially, which I haven't gone 2, 3 hours without eating. Um,
I
so
don't think you've gone an hour without eating.
so, which is so terrible because you're constantly increasing mTOR. But like if we're talking longevity, there's a reasonable data that eating one meal a day actually improves longevity because you decrease mTOR. Yeah, yeah, that's you. But okay, so here's my very serious question. And I know you're going to tell me I might need to see therapy or seek therapy, but I've gone through enough therapy. So here's my question. Bangs or no
I
bangs?
knew you were going to say that. Oh my God. Is she going to ask for bangs again?
Well, I did ask for it before. No,
You
before
ask
I
for it
wanted you
all
to
the
cut all my
time.
hair off. I
Honey, oh
know,
my
but
God, you've gone insane. You said this talk, you released these
I
toxins,
know, and
and
now I
now
want to
you are asking for bangs. I feel like this is something that can only be resolved one way, and that is the
do it.
people listening to this podcast have to make a decision or to do it. But if you do it, you know who
I
you can
mean,
talk to about this? Heather. She just got her
Heather.
bangs.
I think
She
maybe
loves
because
it.
I was looking at Heather.
She sits there the whole time and she goes like this. She goes, I don't have bangs, you have bangs. And then she'll kind of go like this and smash them.
Yeah, yeah, I don't
So
have
bangs are great, right? So yes, to everybody watching this, we clearly have ADD. There is no one topic that we talk about. We talk about every topic the whole
Mhm,
time.
mhm, mhm.
So I want to just preface that you are incredibly stunning. And I
Thank
think
you.
your hair has really grown a lot in the last
It's
month.
grown. I didn't ask you to give me like, a cut like this,
I know. You
which
made
you
me
remember
swear
you
my
cut it
life.
like
I know.
this. Then you said the next day I said, okay, I want more, and then you cut it. But okay, yeah. So I
The
don't
length
know.
is gorgeous. I mean, I think that if you're looking for bangs, what I typically hear when somebody asks, should I get bangs, is this: I need a change. I'm looking for movement. I'm looking for
Hmm.
dimension. I'm looking for texture. We're changing seasons, right? People are doing things.
Hmm.
And so for
I
you, a
did
haircut is
cleanse.
really the only way to go because you don't do hair color
Hmm.
and you don't do any other chemical processes. So cutting is where you find your change. And
I should.
because your hair is growing, you
It
are
grows. I
lacking.
mean,
It grew so
worst
much.
case.
But I don't
Yeah.
know that bangs is the answer. I would start with, because here's the thing. If you're going to get bangs, I am not for or against bangs. I think that there are people that should never live without bangs They are
Mm-hmm.
so, bangs are so, it's part of their identity.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are people that I'm like, did your stylist not tell you that you have a widow's peak and a natural
Mm-hmm.
cowlick that goes right down the middle of your head? And when you get bangs, they're going to split just like your hair, right? And I speak from
Mm-hmm.
personal, like that's my, so bang is going to still go like this. So for you, I think that one, you should let people chime in and see what they say. I think you look beautiful with anything and everything. And I've
Mm-hmm.
seen you with a lot of different styles. But I think
Mm-hmm.
that we should start with something a little bit more simple and add some movement and dimension. Start creating
Right.
some let's call them long bangs. Let's find all the trendy TikTok, Pinterest words that people are using, like curtain bangs, layers,
Yeah.
all sorts of things like that, where that you can create some softness. So when you have it up, you have some pieces that come down. And when it's down, instead of seeing this long sort of like dragging into your first curl, you start to see
Mm-hmm.
some movement there without losing your length. And I think that's what happened is your length grew back. It's
Mm-hmm.
pulling your hair down. And
Mm-hmm.
you always go into this pattern because you're just like, oh, it's just hanging there. I
Mm-hmm.
need a little something.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do agree with shaping it without losing the length because I know you love the length. And every time you
Yeah,
take the length
because we
away.
decided we're not gonna do that ever again.
So that's my opinion. I mean, I'd love to hear what
Okay.
anybody else has to say, but that's my opinion.
Okay. Well,
But
I had a
so you feel clean.
I feel clean. I feel good. My gut feels good. It's just it's interesting. I just the journey. I think it's really, people talk about mind over matter. And I think for me, nothing, it was like, because for me, again, food is such a such an it's like the focus of my life. Um and
And
so it was mind over matter, truly.
so, and I want to just, before everybody goes buck wild and is like, oh, she doesn't eat. I eat. Do I eat, Chippy? I eat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when I say
Mhm.
eat one meal a day, what I mean by that is that I sit down to one beautiful meal a day that I design.
Mhm.
But throughout the day, I am putting nutrients in my body all day long.
Mhm.
And one of my newest favorite thing that I've been doing, it's one of my best tips right now. I have been cutting my silken tofu into cubes and freezing them because I love acai bowls, but I will be very honest, I don't like eating acai bowls because they're loaded with
Mhm.
sugar. It's very rare that
Ton of
I can go
sugar.
anywhere and get a healthy acai bowl, but
Ton of
I
sugar.
love
Mhm.
them. And
Mhm.
so I make them at home for myself, but
Mhm.
I was having
Mhm.
trouble getting the consistency.
Mhm.
And so everything frozen. And so I am somebody who I don't like to live on powders. Like I don't do powder proteins and things like that. I like to ingest real food. And
Mhm.
so one of my life changing things is now I've come back from Asia. Dr. Chippy can attest that now I'm a tofu girl, something she's
Oh
been
my
trying to get me to
goodness,
eat
you're
for
like,
years.
you're obsessed, frankly.
I am obsessed. So I've
Mhm.
been using the silken tofu in my smoothies and I've been cutting
Mhm.
them up like into small little cubes, freezing them and
Mhm.
putting all this frozen stuff. And that silken tofu is amazing. And my bowls are coming like this thick and I top them with goji berries and
Mm.
hemp
Yum.
and I've been putting chia, micro doses of chia, because I know that you're on me about that. I've been putting sunflower seeds and every seeds, flax seeds and sliced fruit. I eat every fruit, every vegetable. And it has been an incredible shift in my gut biome.
Mhm.
Huge shift to use
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
the silken tofu in there because I really don't want to use protein powder, even though the ingredients are clean and it's fine. I prefer to know what I'm eating, and so
Yeah.
that's why I throughout the day I don't eat a lot, but I do eat, and I do eat one beautiful meal that I curate each day. But no,
Mhm.
I don't eat like
Mhm.
you do. I mean, you eat maybe 7 meals a day.
Well, so listen, I have another, just to mix things up. I know everyone is into chia pudding, but basil seeds still have like that gelatinous, it becomes like,
Really
so they're both high in
interesting.
fiber and, based on the way sources of how they sourced basil seeds. It's calcium dense,
Really?
significantly high in fiber. Yeah, so just another way of getting some healthy fats. So I think it's a great option too. So basil seeds, chia seeds, and you can make basil seed pudding,
I
just
love
like you make
that.
chia seed pudding. Yeah.
Do the seeds have any, do they taste like basil?
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
Okay. Okay. So that's interesting. I'm going to try that. Do you think if someone has a sensitivity, like I know Marcia and I, we have so much trouble ingesting chia seeds, and I try to introduce them, like you say to me, just tiny bits, maybe
Mm-hmm,
every other day, just to get that little
mm-hmm,
microdosing.
mm-hmm.
And I still can feel it. Do you think that the basil seeds maybe would be different? I guess I just have to try it.
I think they're pretty similar in profile, so I think part of the issue may be fiber, because
But all I
there
eat
are
is fiber.
some guts. Well, yes, but there are. Remember, there's each plant, and this is why the variety of plants are so important because you get different types of fiber. So it might be that, and look, you have a gut that, tells you when it's not happy. Um,
It
and
does.
so I would say if you have an issue with chia, I would take basil seeds pretty slowly too.
Okay.
What's really cool is that it does a post-meal blunting of sugar. So
Oh,
meaning that
nice.
if you eat carbs, and then you add, like soaked basil seeds, it reduces that acute rise of the blood sugar. So again, it might be because of that soluble fiber that creates like almost like this, like it like coats, your stomach and intestinal
Yeah,
walls, and there's not as much quick reabsorption of glucose. So I think for those reasons, it's again, I just want to introduce people to some foods that they may not otherwise think of.
I would never have
So.
thought of basil seeds.
Mhm, mhm,
Absolutely not. I have a basil plant in the
mhm.
back and I use the basil. And again, I'm Italian. I love basil. Coming back from Asia, all I want now is Thai basil. I cannot believe the difference in taste. It's unbelievable. I can't get enough of that Thai basil. I make it with everything. I put it in my food, in every food that I'm eating. It's so good.
And that's the key is variety, right? So I don't know if we've talked about this before, but if you want to create the diversity of gut bacteria, you want to try and get 30 different plants per week, and that could be herbs. So what you just said,
Yeah,
herbs,
yeah.
nuts, seeds, spices. So, I put cumin and coriander and hing into my kitchery today. And
Hing
so,
is a great
so
one.
spices count. Yeah, asafoetida. It smells like 1,000 toilets, or like a damp shoe that's been sitting in a
Like a
guy's
moldy,
locker. Oh, it's nasty. It smells
musty,
awful.
musty.
Um, yeah, it's called like the devil's dung. That's the that's like there's some yeah, anyway, that's hing.
So I
But
want you to watch. I will be chastised for saying this, but the Netflix, the Megan show, everybody, nobody really likes her, and it's fine. I don't have any allegiance to her, but I do pull some good tips from her. And on
mhm,
her episode 5 in her new season, she had this absolutely beautiful Ayurvedic doctor and her husband on. He's a famous podcaster, and I wish I knew their names, but I was just watching in the background while I was cooking or something. But they caught my eye. They were aesthetically beautiful, and everything
mhm,
that they were doing on that episode was beautiful. And so she said, so Megan was trying to create a vegan meal to host them and things that they did in her craft room. And she said something that I say every single day, that like anything I'm ingesting has to serve a purpose. I'm not
mhm,
just going to ingest something just simply because it tastes good. And so I'd almost rather ingest something that doesn't taste great, knowing that the benefits are very powerful to me and beneficial to me. And so, not that I mean, anything I ingest tastes delicious to me because I know how to work with all the spices and all of the herbs and things like that. But I mean, I will make drinks solely with steep, hot water and probably 15 different herbs and spices to create a
Hmm.
beautiful drink that I'll sit down
Hmm.
to and cup my hands with because I love it. I love drinking it. I can't wait to get to it each day. But all of this medicinal, everything has become medicinal in my life at this stage. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I can tell the difference. Everything, like everything that touches my body, everything that goes into my mouth, everything that is in my home has to be in some way medicinal because there's just too many things that are working against us. So even with that little bit that I'm doing for my own world, it's still very challenging to get ahead of it.
Yeah, I think, I've told this to patients many times. You can look at food as, it's a cultural event. It's, you're hungry. But there's another way to think of food, and food is it's going to express disease or it's going to take away disease. And the key, and it's just going to take trial and error, is to find something you love that gives you enjoyment and still serves that expression of DNA that promotes wellness versus creating inflammation, oxidative stress. So, I think again, I think we keep saying this. We have to because it's worth repeating. Eat foods that don't create oxidative stress. Eat foods that don't create inflammation. Eat foods that improve your insulin sensitivity. And then, we can talk about foods specifically for longevity. But in general, if you eat a ton of fiber, a ton of color, you've gone a long way. And if you can
Yeah.
eliminate processed foods, like, we don't need to worry about, are you pescatarian? Are you lacto ovo vegetarian? Are you vegan? I think we let go of all those labels, and really focus on that fiber, color, unless it's a fruit, reduce and eliminate fructose. Now, that being said, I love honey in my tea. I can't. I can't.
But
I
that's
have to have
okay.
honey in my tea.
That's
And
okay.
I don't put a lot, even though you think it's a lot. It's a teaspoon. I put a teaspoon of honey in my tea. Sometimes I go crazy and put 2 teaspoons.
I think it's okay. I listen, I don't have a problem with what anybody puts in their own body. But for some reason, people have a problem about what I put in my body. I'm always being told, you need to eat real food. And I'm thinking, I am eating actual food. Your hamburger and french fry next to you from the bar is more than likely not a source of a real food. And so that's the issue that I have with a lot. And I do agree with you. We do need to repeat it, right? Because for one, not everybody's listening all the time, and even those that are listening are not processing, and even those that are processing understand and want so desperately to make the changes. It is really hard. I mean, life is
Yeah,
happening. If you
yeah,
want to eat with your family, if you want to socialize with people, there's so many things that people want to do. And on those journeys, it's like, well, today's a party, so it's fine. It's just today because we're at a party, and then but
everything.
tomorrow's like a luncheon, but it's just a
Yeah.
luncheon. But when I go home, it's going to be different. And so you have to make a commitment because you and I both live really great lives. I mean, we are busy and we are usually doing something celebratory. If not, we're
Mhm.
sitting around with people that we love and we want to do all this fun stuff with. And so you have to make choices. And so it's why it's important to align yourself with people that are either on the same journey as you and appreciate and respect it, or those
Mhm.
that just understand it and they're on a separate journey and don't really get what difference does it make to you what I order in a restaurant or what I don't order.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
talked about this, I think, at the end of our last. Oh, should I call it our last season? Our last season of filming as we started
Yeah.
again.
It's
But
been a
we one of
while.
the things we talked about was nobody wants to accept giving up sugar or giving up alcohol. And so when
I
people don't
know.
see me ordering a drink, they're shocked. They're like, "Oh, are you okay?" And so it's interesting, but I think it's all good. I think that we're going to get there. We are already making impacts. People asking questions. We have our friends that are coming because they want to make changes in their personal life, and I think that that's so good. I
It's
think
really
that those are
exciting.
big, 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 big
Yeah.
changes.
And these are women, they're hitting menopause.
I know
And
all of us are.
suddenly, just menopause alone puts you into worsening insulin sensitivity.
It's terrible.
And you see the belly fat happening, and you're like, well, I didn't do anything different.
I didn't do
Why?
anything
Why
different.
did
I
I
gained 29 pounds.
belly fat? I didn't change my exercise. These are women that exercise. They're exercising, they're eating the same, then menopause hits, and boom, suddenly like you have belly fat. Yeah. So I
Everyone's like,
think
"What are you doing? What are you doing right now to get so buff?" I'm like, "Nothing I wasn't doing before. I just shed the menopause fat.
hmm
That's
hmm
it. I think my hormones adjusted. Thank you so much for encouraging me to get on the hormone replacement
hmm
and explaining the importance of that. Oh, we are
yeah, we
being,
lost you there for a second.
oh my gosh, my phone. Sorry about that.
But
Um,
yeah,
so yeah, no, I think it's great. So to reiterate, one of the things we talked about, we need to get anybody who's interested in going to meet with Dr. Chippy, learn more about Elena, or and going on those spiritual guided cleansing journeys to become unleashed. And I think the biggest takeaway from
and think
today
about
was
getting bangs because you now did a juice cleanse and suddenly you can do anything, including getting bangs. Yeah.
clearly, so we will get your haircut. Let's get your haircut next week, and we'll do maybe a little baby step. If you're willing to go like this,
Yeah. Oh,
let's
yeah.
just kind of creep into it. I'm not
Yeah.
scared of it. I
I
have no
mean, we could
problem with it.
start. Do we start here
No, it's not really how it
or
works because
here?
that's not a bang. That's just
No.
you pushing hair out of your face. And this is
Oh.
why this term curtain bang really aggravates me because all these girls do is they chop it right here and then they just go like that. And then they want to know why they don't look like the girls on TikTok or the girls on Instagram or the girls on I don't know whatever platform they're going and listening to. And I'm not opposed to any of that. It's just do you. Just do you. We don't all have to look the same. We don't all have to follow the same trend. Do you, because that's how you're going to look best. So I do think that we do need to add some movement to your hair for sure. So bangs, we'll see what
Mm.
happens when we come
And
back.
bangs may be in our future. That's
You
it.
may see bangs. You may see bangs. Um, and I think probably the biggest, easiest takeaway today from this, Dr. Chippy, is Whole Foods. We say it every time. I think that should be
Every
our
time.
tagline. Whole
Yeah.
Foods. If you want a snack and you don't know what you want, or you're hungry but you don't want to eat, you don't know what you want to eat, start with cucumbers, carrots, green beans, sugar snap peas,
hmm
broccoli,
hmm
cauliflower.
Well, it's something you
Um,
tell me all the time. Like, did you have your water? Because frankly, if you just
oh,
drink,
thank
then
you.
your hunger is gone because you were really just thirsty, not hungry, which
Most
I
of the
fall
time.
into
Most of
that
the
loop.
time.
I fall into
Some
that
people
loop
are
a lot.
hungry.
Some people are hungry. Yeah, no. And yeah, so then there's this concept of eat your water. So eat your water. So that's where the cucumber, watermelon, things that are just
Celery.
naturally full of high water content, celery. It actually helps to rehydrate you better, faster. So
You
um,
taught me something
eat your water.
actually. And I'm not sure if we ever talked about it, but you taught me that if you dehydrate your body, you actually are telling your fat cells to grow and store and hold onto any of the water that is in our body. And if you're
hmm
dehydrated,
hmm
it's probably not much, but the
hmm
more water you feed your cells, the more they'll
hmm
shed.
hmm hmm
And I think that's a great tip. So don't be scared to drink water. I did have a girlfriend a long time ago. This was when we were younger. She hated to drink water because she would say that it would make her flat morning belly expand, right? And so
hmm
she really did. She would dehydrate herself because she claimed that like food didn't do that to her, but liquids did. So she
hmm
would go all day without drinking water. And it's interesting to me because I honestly I love water. I mean, I start my day. I really do. I get my lemon water ready every night, and that's what I
hmm
do. Make it easier for me. I get it ready so that it's room temperature. It's my purified water that you come to my house and take because you love it so
hmm
much.
I know.
And I
It tastes so
fill.
good.
It's so good, and
It's
I
like New
get the
York
lemon.
water.
It's so yummy. And then I always have my water from the gym because I go to the gym first thing in the morning.
hmm
That has lemon, and then you now taught me to put a pinch of salt in there. So I
hmm
put my Himalayan salt in my lemon water, and I drink
hmm
that, and then I come home and I usually do probably one or two more waters because that's when I do my creatine,
hmm
and then I start my warm liquids, which are just a bunch of herbs and spices. Honestly, I think I take my whole Indian spice box out and I put
Well,
everything in there.
the old Ayurvedic, I mean, the Ayurvedic teaching is something called CCF, human
CCF, it's on
Coriander.
episode 5.
Oh, did
Yeah.
we talk about that?
Episode 5, no,
Oh,
episode 5 of the Megan. I want you to watch it
oh,
because that girl's Ayurvedic doctor and she talks about CCF.
yeah. So cumin, coriander, and fennel. So that's,
Yeah,
yeah,
which
that's what.
I
And then you
drink.
can actually add a fenugreek, and that will help with gas. So if you have a lot of bloating, then
Yeah.
add fenugreek. So.
And I think she said, if I'm not wrong, did she say clove?
So cloves, it's interesting. Maybe we should have Elena on the show. She talks about wormwood and clove, and she named one other specifically for parasite cleansing. Um,
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, we should have her on. Let the people
we
know.
should have
And we
her
should
talk about some of that.
for sure, for sure. But I think this is some pretty good information we shared today. I'm so happy for you. I'm glad you got through that horrific starvation period.
I know it was rough. It was
Now
rough,
you're
but
back to eating, right? You're going to eat a
oh,
little
but I am
differently now,
eating. I'm eating so clean. I
like
was
me.
telling my daughters, she's like, but mom, you ate clean. And then, I realized that you kind of drift a little, you add a little sugar, you add a little this, but yeah, yeah.
No,
So
no drifting.
no drifting.
That's and that's one of my biggest issues with eating out is because you just can't control what goes into your
You
food.
can't, but I find myself eating out because I don't know. I like to do walking talks, but I just can't get serious conversations. Like I have to sit down with the person, have dinner or lunch. But listen, I went to Divan, that Turkish restaurant here, and I had lentil soup
Yum.
and I had two like rice, the grape leaves, and
Oh
then I
yeah,
had,
yeah.
so I think the key is you look at the menu, even if you want to look at ahead of time. And I also try to go when I'm not hungry, so I'll eat and then I'll go and then I'll have one or two select items. So I had lentil soup, I had the grape leaves, and I had a little bit of baba ganoush. And then yeah, so I think it's doable. It's doable.
Of course, it's doable. I mean, I travel the world,
Yeah,
and it's
and you can
very
just pick it.
doable. Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love this talk.
Thank you. And we'll
I love
stay
this
tuned for
talk.
the Bang Saga.
The Bane Saga, and yeah. So everybody listening, go eat your fruits. Go eat your vegetables. Drink lots of water
Think
and
color and fiber.
color and fiber, and also positive thoughts.
Oh, that's a whole new talk. Perception. Your
Maybe that's what we'll
perception is
talk.
your reality.
We'll talk about that next time. These
Yeah.
people don't want to hear more from us. It's 45 minutes we've been talking. They don't care what we want to say.
BS stuff. Anyway.
We'll say bye to them. We'll talk more about the BS stuff on our own. So thank you guys for listening. And congratulations again, Dr. Chippy, on being unleashed and untethered. And we can't wait to see what happens in the upcoming year for you. I can't wait to
Thank you.
get everybody on board for our next event, which will be happening soon. And we'll keep you posted. And like she said, go eat the rainbow.